All right. Got our pencil here, and it's got a bunch of little sketches up here that we're going to look at today, and go from there. So start in this corner over here, and she's got a bunch of these little studies of these creatures she created. Good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. Right, today's Sunday, right? As long as it's not Tuesday. Right? Just as long as it's not Tuesday. Good morning, Bosh. Coming over here. It's always important to hang out right under the feet, right? So actually drew some little mer people hanging out with these horse things. And there's this guy over here, close up of the face. Good morning, everybody coming in. Poised out on some rocks here. Mighty critter. And this spot over here. Alright. It's always nice when she has a bunch of little things like this. Alright, let's finish off this page. It's nice of her when she gives me easier homework. Trying to master the secrets of creature design and inking, right? Good morning. Betty popping in. How are we doing? Everyone having a nice relaxing Sunday, right? Still think it's Sunday. It seemed quiet out there this morning, so That's going to be my operating assumption that it is still Sunday out there. Did see a pretty beat up camper van out there, white van, kind of cargo, Econoline style. Very rusted out, looked like they'd been hand painted, but there was a solar panel on top and a couple of fans working to keep the air flowing in there. Do see them around town now that I know what I'm kind of looking for. That's right, she's got the little wings on the legs here. And one over here. Kind of these leg fins. Yeah, the van I saw out there wasn't exactly the glorious, cute and fun version of van life. It was more of the nitty gritty, miserable kind, it looked like to me. Which is probably closer to what's typically out there. Let's get the big back fin on there. Some kind of a critter here looking at her. Good morning. Oh, it reminds me to put this in here, huh? Guess it's already gone. Guess I won't worry about it. I was going to put in the subject here. But I guess it's already been disappeared off the cut and paste. Ah. Poor little dog, all tired out underneath my feet. I need a new. Where'd my paper towel go? Oh, there it is. So tired, huh, Bosch? I should probably go get him his blanket he left behind. Guess I could zoom in on the area I'm actually working in, right? How's that? No problem. I know it's probably makes more sense to see it up close, right? It's just a little. I'm not working in the big area, working in a little area, so I'm a bad streamer. So I need to do is I need to grab my dog's blanket. He was under it, and then he moved over here under my feet, and different bed. So the other one got left behind. I just think it's funny how he's so get up in the morning. It is go time. Like it is time to go do our daily morning constitutional, and then he has his breakfast, and then he just goes out. Guess he doesn't have anything specific to do with the day, but still. Should give him some meaningful work. Maybe he can vacuum up the house or something. Something useful, right? Ah, storyboards, huh? For a particular project or for yourself? Alright, let's get this blanket on this boy. For a project for yourself or for a client? For school? Okay, well that's good. Fun project or like a commercial or a show or... Okay. So for like a game. A long time ago I did some kind of some storyboarding and some keyframing for Riot games a long time ago. Just funny, I've never played any of their games. I had a friend who was working there and got me hooked up with it. And Ryan Woodward was a really great storyboard artist. But that was a long time ago. What I discovered was I really didn't know anything about like cinematic language or shots or any of that stuff. I was just not familiar with any of that information because it wasn't part of my education. So I didn't even know it was like a thing I needed to understand. I understand it now, but back then I didn't know anything about it. But I'm a director? Nah, I'm a teacher. So if I sound like I can boss people around, it's because I teach at a university, so I spend a good part of my day telling 20-year-old girls what to do mostly. So it was funny. We ran into we met up with Ian McCaig for breakfast at Lightbox, and for my university, and familiar with him. He's a really great concept artist for film. Been around a long time, and but he saw me kind of like direct the ladies, mostly ladies with us, and he's like, "Oh, how many kids do you have? You're so good at that." I'm like, "That's just me. I've just been doing it a long time." Um, it's like I have a dog, but oh, yeah, cats are a lot of work as it is, right? I wouldn't mind having a cat, but I'm allergic to them, so um, really can't live with them. So, so I have a dog. I'm not allergic to him at all. So, yeah, earlier this week I had a second dog for a couple days. Um, Little stray found on the street. There was a guy who was struggling to deal with him. He was like, it's been a very adventurous year, but in terms of little events like that happening, finishing off my camper truck project and, well, essentially finishing it off. And yeah, dogs, they're a good time to have around. They're just happy to be there with you, which is a little different than cats' usual attitude, right? Most cats are a little demanding, and yeah, there's a guy. He was on his way to work, and he was getting in his car, and there was this puppy. I was out walking my dog, and so this guy was dealing with this puppy. He was like, "Well, I don't know what to do with it." So he's like, "I have a dog in my house. It doesn't like other dogs, so I don't feel safe leaving her there. I can't, I'm about to go to work. Starts in a little bit, and then and the shelters weren't open yet. It was early in the morning when I was out there, and so I had him drop her off at my house in my yard, and I hung out with her for a couple hours, and then took her over to the shelters after they'd been open for a little bit. Cute little dog. Well, she's going to be big though. She was a puppy, and she was already the same size as my dog. It was a Belgian Malinois, I think is what they're called. Probably other things in there too, but just a little puppy, well, a big puppy, who was very alone out there in the world. But she's at the pound or the shelter now. And from what I saw, looking at their Facebook page, she's already found a home. I'm not sure, when she's going to go there, but someone had already come in and said they wanted her. Apparently they're very energetic dogs, so like a lot of energy. Yeah, it was fun having a little puppy around the house. My dog wasn't so sure about her. He's like, so is she moving in or what's going on here? She's eating all my food, and she barked at me when I told her I didn't like her eating my food, and just seems kind of rude. She's got a lot of crazy energy. He tried playing with her a little bit, and so he was kind of warming up to her. Yeah, he was definitely not used to there being other dogs in his house. Oh, it's got a leak. Yeah, my poor dog, he was just like, so what's going on here with this other dog? It's like, it's one thing to go visit other people and they have dogs. Another one to have an extra one in our house. Like, is this a replacement for me? Or is someone going to be eating my food and eating my treats? And yeah, you never know, right? So humans don't always explain themselves properly, according to dog speech. And so just have to watch and see what the human's gonna do next, because they're a little crazy. Yeah, it's just for him, nobody else. It's like, this is my house, my person. It's like, we'll go up and visit my sister, and she's got a big dog. Part lab, part Great Dane. So he's a big boy. All right, page 022, and he's the same age as mine, maybe a couple months older. So he's 8 years old, a little over 8 years old now. But he likes to play, and my dog is a lot smaller than he is. Mine's probably about half the size or more, less than half the size of him. And so, he tries to play with the big dog, but he just gets knocked over because the big dog doesn't really understand how big he is. And so there's that. But after we're there for about an hour, my dog's usually ready to go home. He's like, all right, well, that's been fun, let's go home now. And I'm like, we just got here. And he's like, oh, it's time to go home. Can't use this corner for some of these next page of drawings. It's like, spent an hour driving up there, and I kind of like to sit longer than an hour and visit with my sister and her kids. But he's had enough. It's time to move on. We've had our little visit. Now we can go home. And what he doesn't know is we're going to go there tomorrow, and I'm going to leave him there for about 11 days. He's going to get left behind with my sister. I go visit family for Christmas. Oh yeah, so it's a couple of weeks away, right? Alright, let's see. Who could we fit in here conveniently? Maybe this one. Let's let the tail go behind the other tail, I guess. Hate to waste this paper. It's actually quite expensive. And here she's like trying to figure out where to put the legs. Interesting, kind of looking more closely at other people's work like this, doing copies and studies, and kind of see how they think, what they're worried about, trying to figure out, the reasons why they make the choices they make. It's always kind of an interesting process. Yeah, so it's been an adventurous year. We had a big health thing in the family, and it's gotten better, but it's still being resolved. And then I finished off my truck thing. I interviewed at another university, even though I knew I wasn't going to take the job, but they asked me to do it anyway. And lots of portfolio stuff in the summer. Finished off my truck. My dog got himself hurt. Broke a toenail in a very painful way. So I had to deal with that for a few weeks, and the expense of it, of course. Oh, and last year too, an engine died on my car. Had to get a new engine. It was last year, October. Again, finished off my camper build inside my car, and got to take that out a bunch this fall. else? What else? Oh yeah, I had a house was invaded by gnats. What happened? Which thing? The with my dog, I think he must have like stepped wrong or something. It might have happened when there was another dog that attacked him. Luckily, nobody got hurt. I almost got in a fight with the dog owner, though. The dog that attacked mine. They let their dog off leash, off collar, outside on a busy down. Because I live downtown, so there's people all over the place, walking, and they have this like aggressive, small bulldog, and he just like let it off leash, off collar, and it came walking up to us, all friendly, and then started attacking my dog, and I'm thinking it might have been then, but he tore his toenail up to what's called the quick. So basically, to where it connects with the blood, his toenail, and so I had to take him in, and they had to sedate him and trim it off, and then keep it in bandage and keep him on painkillers for about a week. Like an ibuprofen or something for dogs. And but it took about 3 weeks before we could go anywhere, just because he had to wait for it to heal, to grow back. Bandage came off early, but had to keep his foot dry, so we couldn't go anywhere. Couldn't even go for very long walks outside. And so he was really, really miserable for about 2 or 3 days. He was just obviously in a lot of pain and not feeling good. I could see exactly when the pain medication would wear off. You could see it on his face. And I'm looking for time 44. Maybe I'll ink these two and see if we've got time left after that. Yeah, but he's fine now. But yeah, back then he was just really out of it. Went to go see these people at the vet. They were so nice to him, and then they put him under. Oddly, they're supposed to get that cone to wear on his head. That they have what dogs wear when they're recovering from an injury or a surgery, and they didn't try to put it on him until after he woke up, which was weird. I would think they would put that on him before he wakes up. And that way you don't have to deal with him after he wakes up, because he was panicking when he woke up, because he's still kind of hallucinating from the being under. And so he never actually put it on him. Because when I took him home, he just didn't want to have it put on, and he didn't bother with his foot at all. So I let him alone. Didn't put it on him. So I was just sitting in the other room. I got this expensive, overpriced cone that I didn't need to pay for. But but yeah, it was weird. I thought they would have put it on him before, and it seems like that was their job. But yeah, it turned out he didn't really need it. So it's hard to believe that was this year. And then what else? Oh yeah, I had a gnat invasion of my house. So I accidentally left garbage in the garbage can a day too long, or a couple days too long, and the house is just filled with gnats. So it took a month to get rid of them completely. Completely gone now, but it was just it was a nightmare. then Lightbox at the end of October. Did a bunch of camping in October. I was in an Overland Expo with my camper. I got into their DIY showcase and did that. That was a lot of fun. Bunch of camping, going landscape painting outside. What else did I do? So Lightbox into that month, and then debate. Sort of a debate presentation at the school. There's people at the university in my department that want to start using AI stuff in the classroom and in the art department, and I'm against that. And so I got to present on that. Give my views on why I find it concerning that we would hand over our creativity to these systems that we do not understand or do not perceive the actual limits of. Yeah, it was a lot of fun taking my plein air kit out there and hiking around in the mountains, and I was really looking forward to that because it's fall weather, and I had been living in Florida before, and we don't get seasons out there, so just it's always summer pretty much, and so I was looking forward to. One of the reasons I moved up here was to be able to get access to that. So yeah, I think it's really harmful for human imagination and thought. I saw a guy posting on Twitter yesterday how excited he was because now anyone can understand a scientific paper when they're doing their research, because it'll summarize it and explain it for you. And I'm like, well, how do you know that it summarized it in the way that you would have liked? Like, you got some kind of information from it, but you don't know that it did it correctly. You lack the expertise already to understand the paper. So what are you doing? So I was involved with that, which was not a lot of fun. Telling my colleagues, people I like and I work with and respect in a lot of ways, and explain to them why it's harmful. there's a famous psychological experiment or effect called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And basically, there was an experiment done where they surveyed different countries about how people there felt like they were skilled at something. So, for example, I think it was Japan. They asked Japanese how good they thought they were at math, and they basically said, on average, we're not that great at math, and we could be better. That kind of attitude, very Japanese. What do you expect to hear from Japanese culture? And it turns out, when they look at the test results, that they're actually very good at doing math as a country relative to others. And they did the same thing with Americans, and the Americans felt that they were very good at doing math on average, even though, of course, our test results show otherwise. And so that's this Dunning-Kruger effect, is basically when you overestimate your ability to do something, and you're unaware of your own kind of weakness in that area. And so as part of that study, they came up with these levels of competence, or your levels of being able to do something well. And the bottom level is unconscious incompetence. So you are unaware that you are terrible at something. And then there's conscious incompetence, where you recognize your own lack of ability. And that, of course, can lead to you getting better at something, right? Because if you recognize you're not very good at something, you'll usually want to improve it or not do the thing that you're not good at, one of the two. And then you move into conscious competence, where you're aware of what you need to do to be better, and you are aware of how to be good at things, and you follow kind of very prescriptive paths to be good at those things. And that helps you kind of improve. And then there's unconscious competence, and so it usually means you're so good at something you don't really have to think too much about doing it anymore. And so I think one of the things that happens is with the AI thing is it convinces people that they are doing and accomplishing things which they are in fact not accomplishing at all. And so I think it leads to greater unconscious incompetence, because if you feel like you're accomplishing something, you'll keep doing that thing even though you are not. And in fact, one of the things that I often hear from even my colleagues when they express their support for these generative systems is that they'll tell me two things every single time. The first thing is they'll tell me it's more efficient than they are. That it does things more quickly and more efficiently than they would do them. And then they'll often tell me it's more creative than they are. So they'll say it comes up with ideas or images that they never would have. And especially that second one, that just sounds like their problem, not my problem. I've got so many things that I want to do that the list is too long for me to be able to do it. It's inexhaustible. So it would only get in my way if it created more options for me, if that's what it was really doing. And then the other, so back to that efficiency argument, well, you don't actually know if it's more efficient, because one of the things that's not happening is you're not actually paying for the cost of using these systems. So not only is the copyrighted material that's contained within it, and and that, but it's also the energy requirements and the server spaces. The customers are not paying for any of that yet. It's all being covered by investment. And so the true cost of it is actually well beyond probably what it would be to be efficient at it. And so people literally kind of out themselves as not being, or at least not feeling very creative compared to what the outputs are from these systems. Which I think is a big problem for them. And yeah, so that's one of the things people are wondering is like, what are we going to do now? Because there are places where they're finding kind of usefulness for at least related systems, like in medicine. Apparently it's getting really good at diagnosing illnesses at a very high speed. So it may have its uses in certain areas. But I also wonder, like, even in the case of like the medicinal things, is it going to mean my doctor doesn't understand what he's looking at anymore? That's like a big deal. Like if the doctor doesn't understand what they're looking at, because they just hand it over to the machine and they accept what the machine says, what's going to get missed. The other thing you kind of run into with these systems is it's not really clear about what the motivations are for those that are creating them. So who gets to decide what's allowed and what's not, and why. And will we even know? Because it can direct, the content in a way that it doesn't allow certain things or requires other things in a way that, I may not like. And as an American, free speech is a big deal here. And like if it limits your ability to express yourself, even if they're for what you might think of as legitimate reasons, like images of evil images of children, per se. Like you don't want that in there. But at the same time, maybe there's, you won't be able to make fun of politicians or business leaders or other important people because they don't want it in the systems. Maybe they'll hide certain kinds of information, not allow you to say certain things that you should be able to say. And by relying on these systems for that becomes a problem. It's like, for example, actually even with like Adobe software, already, it's been this way for a long time, but you cannot, scan in or import images of money. I think especially the dollar. Now, maybe it's, you're going to say it's to avoid people printing out money, right, using the software to print out money, but to print out counterfeit money. But there's plenty of legitimate reasons you'd want to be able to do that for certain kinds of art projects or, just novelty reasons or other things. Like there's legit reasons to be able to do that, but the software doesn't allow you to do that, which is weird. So there's always kind of limits like that in the systems. And then the other thing they're running into with the information anyway with these machine learning tools is they're kind of running out of new data to feed it. So it requires original human data in order for these systems to work. And what they've basically done is they've already used up everything to train the systems that they already have. So they've imported YouTube videos and images and movies and everything into the system. And they've run out, basically. There's not much left that they can put in there. It's one of the reasons why Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all these other social media things, they've automatically opted people into having their data used for their AI systems, because that's at least a place where there's new information being created. People uploading pictures of their pets and art and all that stuff up there. And but it's not enough for it to work properly. And so it just means that because the AI can't train on itself, you can't make new AI images and then give it to the AI to train it, because it causes problems in the system. It starts to degrade the quality, and so they can't use it. Yeah, but again, it's still not enough information. Like, it's just in order to keep up with the improvements they say they want. And then there's the power requirements. So it requires a lot of power, and so like Meta and who else was it? Microsoft. They want to get exclusive access to nuclear power plants to fuel the server farms with power. In fact, Microsoft wants to reopen an old nuclear power plant in Pennsylvania called 3 Mile Island. It's famous for almost melting down back in the 70s, so a long time ago. They probably fixed up so it works fine now, but they want it just for their AI system. And then Meta was looking at another existing plant to use for themselves. And they didn't get it because where they wanted to put the server farm, it was, I guess there was some kind of rare bee living there. But, so there's those power issues too, like not just the data, but also just the electricity. They're paying farmers not to farm in Taiwan so they can produce the superconductors or whatever they're called for the chips that they make there. So they're not making food because they need to power these systems. And they've been doing that for like 3 years. That isn't like a brand new thing that happened just recently. It's been going on for a while. So there's all these kind of issues, and that aren't being discussed by a lot of these people, because they seem to think that this what we have now is going to give them artificial general intelligence, so an actual real intelligence, and it's not really. That's not what it does. Like, it's not capable of that. Like, it's not within the technological possibility, because there's not enough data, the systems aren't built for that, and there's not enough power to fuel that kind of system in the world. But so the other thing, maybe the quantum computer might be a solution, but even the one that Google's been working on for a long time, they had a little breakthrough, but really what they did is they gave it an equation that the computer itself was designed to solve. And so even though it's a problem that like a regular computer would take far too long to solve, it's not really a useful problem, and it's not the kind of system where you can throw every kind of problem at it and will solve it very easily, especially these kind of deeply complicated ones. And then the level of complexity the quantum computer would need to get to is far, far beyond what even that one was achieving after so many years of research. So maybe one day they'll get there, but they're nowhere near that place yet. So a lot of the positive talk is just delusional about it, which it's kind of sad. But I think I'm going to stop there. It's been about an hour, and move on with my day. So thanks for coming in. I'll probably be back in this evening, and we'll talk to everybody later.